If you couldn't tell by my attire, today's episode is all about Monday Night Raw. Welcome to the Screen Squad. Welcome back, guys. I'm Kev with the Screen Squad, and today is just a review of Monday Night Raw. I would say Raw last night was actually a really good show. It had a couple moments that didn't really live up to much hype. One being the triple threat women's tag team title match. Didn't much really care for that. But some big moments from these guys. Randy Orton opened the show with a dope promo, basically saying that the next time he says welcome to Monday Night Raw, he'll be a 15-time world champion, which, getting into that real quick, looking forward to Bash at Berlin, Gunther versus Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight title. I would like to see Randy win. I just don't see them taking the title off Gunther that fast. But the part of me that wants Orton to win it, there's the same part of me that wants to see Orton versus Cena at WrestleMania for the title, where Cena gets the win. I think that would be beautiful. I think on his retirement run, that Cena deserves to break the record. I don't think it needs to be held by Ric Flair anymore, or even tied with Cena anymore. I think you let the man go out on top. The company has stated over and over that John Cena is the GOAT. So what better way to have your GOAT ride off into the sunset than be world champion? I don't know. We'll see what happens. That match, Gunther, Orton, that could go either way, and I really wouldn't be too upset about it. But we had a great promo tonight, which led into Orton being attacked from behind by Ludwig Kaiser. But then later on in the night, main event, Ludwig Kaiser versus Randy Orton. It was a very cliche booking of a match, if you will. Technically, the match was pretty good. Some mild praises got to give them to Gunther and Orton's interactions throughout the match. I love the fact that every time Orton slammed Kaiser onto the table, he would look back at Gunther, and Gunther was just getting more and more frustrated. I gotta say, I was happy that they let this match go to a decision rather than interference from Gunther. That's stale. It's been done a million times. I just don't see the point in that. Let the guys fight. Let them go. The dilemma of two new stables. Now, there's no denying that the Wyatt Six are incredibly popular in every arena. The act is continuing to click with fans. I'll say the one negative thing about having this American-made go up against the Wyatts is you got two new factions. One faction's already kind of established as far as the crowd loves them. They have a history. But American-made is a group that's already being turned into losers before they've even been able to find their feet. But this week it was pretty cool seeing Ivy Nile going up against Maxine Dupree, which got interrupted by Nikki Cross. Well, the whole Wyatt Six, but really Nikki Cross at first. And then Nikki Cross attacks Ivy Nile. I've been saying for weeks that we need to get Nikki Cross actually involved, rather than just being the de facto manager of this group, or the mascot, if you will. It was nice to see her get her hands dirty. We all know she's a talented individual and can hang with the best of them. But the Wyatts and American-made, they faced off in the ring. The Wyatt Six crew is now not donning their masks that much anymore. I mean, I think they will for entrances, but moments like this just makes sense to not. And then you had Uncle Howdy come out looking a little bit different, guys. The dreads were kind of gone. He was kind of going back to that luscious silver hair. And the mask looked a little bit more like the original Howdy mask as far as colors and just style of it. I don't know if that was just the lighting, but the hair is definitely different. We'll see what happens with this character going on, but next week, next Monday, it's finally happening. We're finally getting Chad Gable one-on-one with Uncle Howdy. Now, I hope this match stays one-on-one with little to no interference from either side until at least the end. It's been cool to see what Bo Dallas or Taylor Rotunda can do as far as his mic work. Well, not even mic work, promo work, scare factor. Like, does he have the same aura as his brother? He's damn close. Honestly, he's damn close. And, like, there's the moment last night where Uncle Howdy hit Gable with his sister Abigail. And, like, right before that, you see him walking up behind him. It's the way he was walking. I'm just like, this dude, like, you want aura? There's aura. Now, I know there's a lot of people that just don't like it. That's fine. You're entitled to not like it. That's your opinion. But you can't deny that these people are over. The Wyatt 6, like, I have heard, I'm not saying it was the loudest pops I've ever heard, but when Howdy showed up behind him, the crowd was unglued. When Nikki Cross showed up, the crowd was unglued. They get a response from people. Now, I think they're one of the better things happening on Monday Night Raw. And I'm here for it. But it's starting to feel like American Made seems to have just simply been born to put over the Wyatt 6, making it tough to take them as a real threat. And, like, even after this feud, I don't know how that group's going to get back to, like, get over this, if that makes sense. That's, like, my one major concern about it. Like, I don't mind American Made. I said actually years ago that these three guys, not years ago, but a while ago, that Chad Gable and the Creed brothers probably belong together. They're similar styles. They had college amateur wrestling. And then this week, that damn bracelet strikes again as far as Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. We're now being told that CM Punk issued a challenge to Drew McIntyre for Bash at Berlin. He wants a strap match. And it's like an old school style strap match, not just where they're strapped to each other, but you got to touch all four corners in the ring to win. Punk seemed to acknowledge the misfire last week when he told Drew that he could keep the bracelet, that the issue wasn't about the jewelry, but what it symbolized. And then last night, they completely undid that attempted retcon by focusing the entire promo on the bracelet. I don't hate it, but, like, I feel like they're taking the fire away from what made this feud great to begin with, and that was just their pure hatred for each other. But like I said, at the same time, I don't mind all that much because these two cook. No matter what, they cook. So, Bash at Berlin, McIntyre Punk strap match. I have a feeling that's going to be a solid match, but once again, WWE's heading into a peak with its longest standing feud centering on a 50-cent bracelet as a prized possession rather than the rivals' hatred of each other, and why they're trying to vanquish the other. The match might deliver on the night. I shouldn't say might deliver. It's gonna deliver. But I feel like the bracelet needs to be kind of forgotten about for now. It shouldn't be the focus of the feud. Seamus and Pete Dunn had an interesting face-off this week. It was a very physical match it featured a ton of stiff shots from beginning to finish. Didn't disappoint. Pete Dunn, he might seem like he's newer, but he's a veteran of the business. And Sheamus, we all know he's a veteran of the business. Like, there was just strikes, knees, backbreakers, powerbomb, slams. And aside from Dunn's joint manipulation on Sheamus's damaged hand, the two didn't rely on rest holds, using their time instead to just beat each other up. I loved every second of it. And Sheamus picked up the win by escaping a Dunn ploy, trapping the Celtic Warrior's hand. Like, Sheamus's hand was trapped in the turnbuckle, right? And I love this. You can see he got pissed off, and as Pete Dunn ran to the other side of the ring to run back at him and kick him in the hand again, he ripped his hand through the turnbuckle pad, hit Pete with the bro kick, and got the 1-2-3. It was good to see that the match didn't overstay its welcome here, and it just went for the duration of what it was supposed to go for. They didn't overdo anything. It was just a solid, hard-hitting match that I think ended pretty well. And you kind of get that tease that Ludwig Kaiser and Sheamus are going to run it back at some point. Now to the match I truly didn't much care for, and that was the women's triple threat tag team match between Damage Control, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, and then this new group, the Pure Fusion. I even just hate saying it. I hate it. I don't know who came up with that, but it's not good. Pure Fusion Collective? What? I feel like that's the name of like maybe like a tanning salon on the West Coast. I don't even know. It's just bad. Pure Fusion. I don't know. I don't like it. Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on the name because, I mean, it's not. No, I was gonna say it's not the worst thing ever, but I'm gonna dwell on it a little bit longer. That match or that team name is just awful. Like, I wasn't sold on Damage Control, and they've officially got a worse name than that. Pure Fusion Collective. I don't get it. But once again, it was Io Sky who stole the show with a dominant portion, where she was in pure babyface fire mode. She was running through everyone. There was that Io Sky playing to the crowd, serving to really drive home the point and rally fans to their side. Like, I'm starting to actually like Damage Control. I never thought I would. But they got to do something now with Dakota Kai kind of sidelined. And imagine that pop when she comes back a babyface. Insane. But the finish saw Baszler hook Kairi Sane in a Karafuda clutch. But Isla Dawn and Fire hit their double team backstabber swanton bomb thing to put Baszler down, and they retained their titles for a little bit longer. It was an okay match, though the champions are still just rather there than being the center of the story. Like, the center of the story is still very, like, circulating around this feud between Damage Control and the Pure Fusion Collective. Just doesn't taste good coming out, you know? Not a good name. I feel like Triple H is kind of sitting in the back there on his phone trying to Google how to make this women's tag division relevant. And I think it's missing. I don't think it's been good. I don't think it's going to be good. But moving on, we got a realistic development between the New Day and the Final Testament. You finally had that moment with Xavier Woods and Kofi where Xavier voices his concerns that it feels like Kofi's trying to replace Big E, to which Kofi downplays it. He flat out denied it, pointing to their history together and how they'd always had each other's backs and how he wanted to pay it forward to Odyssey Jones as a newcomer to show him that kind of veteran leadership that they were showing. And that conversation seemed to get them all back on the same page. But then Woods it has this moment towards the end of the match where they're going for a hot tag. Kofi's in the ring, and him and Jones have their hands out waiting for the tag. And he goes like he's gonna hit Woods with the hot tag, and then gets Jones. And then you just see the look on his. And then, like, the match, great finish. Final Testament once again loses. This is a team that I haven't really seen much going for them. The only thing that could really bounce them back is possibly Xavier Woods turning on the New Day, which I do foresee that happening. When? I don't know. I would hope before Bad Blood so you could get Kofi versus Xavier at Bad Blood. But we'll find out. New Day and Odyssey Jones get the win. Odyssey Jones looks incredible. Just a big powerhouse dude who really, he doesn't have to do. The Judgment Day got the upper hand on the Terror Twins. Great segments. Like I put on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, last night that the Judgment Day and the Terror Twins segments have been some of the best stuff I've watched in wrestling in a while. And it looks like we're getting a mixed tag match at Bash of Berlin. The Terror Twins versus Dom and Liv. But according to how this went, the numbers game will always be in effect as far as this new Judgment Day goes. I'm going to say Judgment Day featuring Carlito because he's still yet to get any like gear pertaining to the Judgment Day. So it's Judgment Day. But I got to say, like, Damian Priest is doing some of his best work even after dropping the title. Like he spins around, catches the rest of Judgment Day, and it worked well until the numbers game caught up to, and the group dogpiled him. The beatdown happened. Rhea and Priest were laid out. They fought valiantly against the odds, but came up short. But yeah, the Terror Twins lost this round. We'll see what happens next. I love Monday Night Raw lately. It's just been cooking. So is SmackDown, though, with the return of the Tribal Chief. And there's a promo package for Braun Breaker. It was solid stuff to continue to build Braun up as a big deal without having to offer up a sacrificial lamb in the ring or force him to cut a lengthy promo. Instead, the video set the table for the brief interview nicely. And it was kind of cool just seeing Braun talk. You don't need to see him kick someone's ass every week. That becomes redundant. And it almost feels like you put the title on him and then have him just go week in, week out against jobbers. I don't think that'd be a smart move. I think what they're doing is smart. They got a tournament starting next week to determine a new number one contender. We'll see what happens there. And Bronson Reed and The Miz had a simply because it was no disqualification. So you had The Miz like trying to put up a fight the whole time. Kept getting these good shots in on Bronson, but it was just too much for him. And after demolishing Rollins and R-Truth with a plethora of tsunamis, there was a risk of overdoing it by going back to the well. Instead, having Bronson Reed win a brawl where he overcame the bulk of the weapon shots worked really well. And with the one tsunami serving as the kill shot that got fans out of their seats. Like, I hate to say it, but Bronson Reed is getting over with the crowd. People love to see destruction, and which leads into this next little feud for him, which I think is going to be golden. And that's Braun Strowman came charging out to the ring and had a stare down with him. That's going to be a physical clash. I'm pretty sure that's next week on Raw as well. So next week is going to just another banger. As Seamus says, banger after banger after banger. And this match has a ton of potential in it, especially if WWE just lets both men air it all out in the ring. I can't wait to see what happens. And that's what we got from Monday Night Raw. Leave a comment down below. Hit that like button. And I'll see you next week. Bye.